Hey comic book friends, welcome back to Comic Book Corner, and today we are doing another comic book review, and this is your host, Spider Slayer. That's right guys, we are talking about The Amazing Spider-Man issue 693 Alpha Part 2. This particular issue, or this story arc, has been getting a lot of buzz because you either like it or you kind of hate it. And I can see why in both instances. Spider-Man doesn't do well with a sidekick, and if you guys haven't read the last issue, he had kind of like he was doing a science experiment for Horizon Labs where he works, and there was a student, and his name was Andy McGuire, and he gets zapped by this experiment that Peter Parker was doing, and it was called Parker Particles, which is basically like a clean form of energy. And all of a sudden, something went wrong, the fail-safes went bad, and boom, there's Alpha. And he has all this pretty much unlimitless power, and he has like 6 different powers, but he can only use one at a time. And it was kind of one of these things where the Fantastic Four push Alpha to Spider-Man, say you have to deal with him because he can be more powerful than the Hulk. He can be more powerful than the Silver Surfer. He can be more powerful than anybody. He is the alpha male. He is the most strongest character in the Marvel Universe, supposedly. So in this issue now, we talk about how Spider-Man deals with Alpha and, you know, how he handles the situation. And it's not a bad issue. It's kind of average. I mean, I have its mixed things. It reminds me of a lot of Star Wars. You have Obi-Wan Kenobi, who's Peter Parker, who has this apprentice, which is Anakin Skywalker, and here is Alpha, and he's trying to raise him to be a good superhero. And what happens is he's this stuck-up teenager punk, and he thinks he can do better on his own. It's the same here. You know, it's the same in Star Wars where he thought he could do better on the dark side. And in a nutshell here, it's like Peter has to confront him towards the end of the issue, or he's going to in the next issue, where just like in Star Wars, Obi-Wan had to take down Anakin Skywalker because he was turning evil. It's kind of like the same thing. And even in this issue here, comparable to Star Wars, we had to deal with clones. So it's just funny. I just think it's so like it just reminded me of Star Wars, of episode 1, 2, and 3 for some reason. It was just like that type of story. So it's like an average story for me, but the art, however, is really, really good. I couldn't get really any good pages to show you, so I'm going to have to show you on the comic itself. The cover is good. The cover is nice. It's kind of got Alpha taking over the anniversary issue of Spider-Man, and he's got this look on his face. And obviously, this book by now you guys know, if you're Spider-Man fans, it's written by Dan Slott. Humberto Ramos does the pencils, which he totally shines in this book. I love his artwork. It seemed like I don't know if he took extra time in the book, but here we have a page there of Alpha. Another page that I totally enjoyed, which we haven't got to see here, is Mary Jane. Mary Jane, I thought, was done very well. Hopefully you guys can see that. She was drawn nice. Her facial expressions were drawn nice. She has a heart-to-heart with Peter, reminding of Peter of who he is and how he became Spider-Man, and not because of just if his Uncle Ben would have died, you know, he wouldn't have become the person that he is today. Because Peter, Alpha reminds himself of Peter when he was young, and he says if it wasn't for you know, Uncle Ben dying, I would have been the same way. And again, Mary Jane reminds him of that, that's not who he is on the inside. But it was nice to see Mary Jane getting together with Peter. That was a nice part of the story. You know, but again, the artwork shines. You know, there's always great artwork in Roberto Ramos's art. I mean, again, those facial expressions, very good, very intense, nice cartoony. I enjoyed it tremendously. Um, in the issue itself, you see, you know, Alpha saying that Spider-Man is the sidekick and that he wants to be an Avenger and all kinds of stuff like that. You see Alpha making out with other girls. He's just this snot-nosed kid. And what we see in the issue is Jackal comes along and he has his little spider queens and, you know, takes Alpha hostage. And what we have later on in the issue is they try to clone him. And in between we have Peter Parker talking with J. Jonah Sr. and Aunt May and saying, you know, if you ever need us, Peter, we're always here. So Peter's really focused lately in our stories on himself and not towards everybody else, like Mary Jane, like Peter, but they're always there for him. And he has to remember that, you know, they're there even though they're not in trouble, that they need him still. And there was another heart-to-heart with Mr. Modell, and basically Peter is ready to retire from Horizon Labs because he feels like he is a burden on them. There's been nothing but bad luck that goes along since he's been there because he's obviously Spider-Man. But that's not the case. Modell just likes having Peter around because he feels now he's taken Horizon Labs to a whole other level of saving the world. So it was really, really, those parts of the stories is touching. Later on, though, we find out that they have to track Alpha, and they find out where he is, and he is in the Jackal's secret lair. So here we are. We got the Jackal, and Alpha's all shackled up, and he's just like, I can't move, and he can't, you know, can't do anything. And what they're doing, and what Jackal's doing, is he's trying to clone Alpha to use all that energy, and he will have an Alpha army, and they're clones, and they'll just destroy the entire world. And we can see that there's a brief battle between the Jackal, but not really, because he's a clone too. So you never know which Jackal, if there is a real Jackal, is real or fake. And after that short little battle comes through, we have all our little Alphas coming out. They're like our clone troopers here. Here they are. And there's the Emperor. And basically, as he says attack, they can't attack because the energy can't be, it can't be cloned. So Jackal's plan B is to harvest the energy from Alpha himself to get to the clone. So that's basically plan B. So after some words of inspiration, Spider-Man's just like, Alpha, think about why you're here. Think about saving the world. Trust me, you know, you're trapped. You have to get out. You have to do things for, you know, the world. And he's just like, and Alpha's like, you're right. He's like, I have to do it. I have to get out. I have to get free. Great great facial expressions there. You can see him trying to get out. And, you know, Spider-Man's like, your friends, your family are here. They need you. He's like, come on, dude, hero up. You know, he's like, the world's counting on you. And he's like, no, I can't let that happen. So right when you think that Alpha's just going to, you know, be that good guy, breaks free. And the next thing you see is that he's like, it's the one thing, the only thing that makes me special. And he's like, no one is taking it from me. And Spider-Man's like, what? He's like, no, that's not what I meant. And right away he blows up all the clones, and the clones go all over the place. There's clone glue all over. And basically what happens is Jackal just hits the big red button, and blows up everything. And the next thing we see is that Spider-Man just tries to say, you know, he's like, if you're willing to learn, you know, you can teach me. He's like, you know, how my powers can work and this and that. He's like, all right, kid. He's like, one more shot. But remember, the rules are the rules. And it's not who he's talking about. He's not talking to Spider-Man. And he goes, I'm not talking to you. He's talking to her, which is the agent. And he goes, and she wants 15%. And you can see the look on his face there. And now it says Alpha flying solo. Now he's by himself with no Spider-Man. And basically, the Fantastic Four are just sitting here going, you know, it's Spider-Man. He has to put him on the right path. It's like, we got to put him on the light side, not on the dark side. And Benjamin and Grimm is just, Ben Grimm's just like, I'll clobber time him, you know. And as time goes on now, we see that he's hooking up with models and stuff like that. And, you know, it's just a sad thing. And it's not what Peter wanted for Alpha. And Mary Jane makes a visit, and he's been working. And basically what happens is he basically said, if you work with me, he's like, there'll be a spot on the Avengers for you. And Alpha's like, for real? And it was a lie. It's just so to calm Alpha down. And Peter's just running some tests, and he's trying to turn him back to normal. And he's saying that he's just not worthy. And Mary Jane's like, you have a say in that? And Peter basically says, damn straight, his power is my responsibility. That gives me all the say I need. And in the next issue, we have, and I say Alpha, no more. So now we're going to see this heated battle probably between Alpha and Peter. How is he going to take his powers away? I don't know. We'll see. Here's a little preview page there of the next cover. So the story had its moments with Mary Jane, Mr. Modell, and Jonah and Aunt May. The artwork was fantastic. The story is average. It reminded me of a lot of Star Wars. So I say a 3 out of 5. I'm probably going to push it towards a 3.5 out of 5. Artwork was really good. I am interested to see where it's going to go on how he's going to stop Alpha. But is Alpha going to stay in the Marvel Universe forever, or is this just this one-time deal? So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know why they would get rid of him if they're investing these issues in a brand new character. So we'll see where it goes. This issue was not as cheesy as kind of like the last one, you know, and it seemed rushed with the other stories involved. This one had more of a story a little bit. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. You guys tell me what you think of part 2 of Alpha, and where do you see Alpha fitting in this Marvel Universe? So guys, I hope you enjoyed this in-depth review of The Amazing Spider-Man issue 693. And this is Spider Slayer, as always, saying thank you for watching Comic Book Corner. Until the next comic book review, this is Spider Slayer signing off. Thanks for watching Comic Book Corner, guys. Take care of yourselves. Bye.